You want to know what truly affects a woman deeply? It's not shouting, not blocking her, and not begging her to finally understand you. It's this one thing most men never do because it takes strength, restraint, silence, and control. And once she realizes what you've done, it stays in her mind forever. This isn't about manipulation. It's about what happens when a man finally wakes up and stops giving his peace to someone who never truly respected it. Let me explain the realization she never saw coming. At first, she barely notices the change. She assumes you're still there, still waiting, still hoping, because that's what you always did. You were always the one who cared more, the one staying awake at night trying to fix problems she wouldn't even admit existed, the one over-explaining just to soften her silence, the one forgiving her cold behavior, her mood swings, her disappearing acts. Again and again, you handed her your heart believing she'd eventually recognize your effort. But she didn't. Instead, she saw a man who would never leave, a man who kept giving no matter how little he received in return. And somewhere deep down, she confused your love with weakness. So she became comfortable, far too comfortable. She believed she had endless time to make up her mind, time to push you away and pull you back whenever it suited her. Time to treat you like an option because you always returned. But then something changed. And it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It happened quietly. You didn't slam doors. You didn't send a long emotional message. You didn't post quotes or play mind games. You simply stopped. You stopped chasing her moods. You stopped trying to decode her mixed signals. You stopped answering her silence with long paragraphs. You didn't yell, you didn't cry, you didn't explain yourself anymore. You just became quiet. And that calm, peaceful silence hits differently because it doesn't sound angry. It doesn't sound bitter. It sounds free. For the first time, she feels real distance from you. Not fake distance meant to get attention, but genuine emotional detachment, the kind that says, I'm done waiting, I'm choosing myself now. And that realization shakes her deeply, because once a man who truly loved her stops trying, there's no control left, no guilt, no games, no emotional leverage. You finally let go. The power shift begins quietly. You stop replying instantly. You stop chasing reassurance. You stop shrinking yourself just to keep peace. The man who once revolved around her emotions now moves according to his own standards. At first, she thinks it's temporary. She expects you to come back like before. But this time, you're not playing games. You're simply tired of performing for someone who never valued you properly, and that calm energy exposes everything. She realizes the control she had only existed because you allowed it. Now you're peaceful, focused on your own life, your work, your friends, your future. You're no longer chasing her validation. That's when it truly hits her. She didn't break you. She freed you. The man who once waited for her attention no longer waits for anyone. You're not trying to make her jealous. You're simply healing and becoming yourself again. And that hurts more than any argument ever could, because she realizes you didn't just let go of her. You let go of needing her. When you finally stop explaining yourself, everything changes. You no longer defend your intentions or beg to be understood by someone who already chose not to understand you. Your silence becomes strength, calm, unshakable peace. And that silence speaks louder than any words ever could. This was never about revenge or manipulation. It was about growth, about choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over mind games, and your future over mixed signals. Because when a man truly values his time, his heart, and his peace, he stops chasing people who never deserved him, and that's when he becomes unforgettable, not because he tried to, but because his absence speaks louder than his presence ever did. That is Stoicism. That is masculine strength. That is what it means to become a man who moves with peace instead of noise. Because in a world full of men desperately trying to prove themselves, the man who no longer needs to is the one people never forget. And that's the moment she realizes, you were never just another man chasing her. You were the blessing she failed to recognize, and now she never gets that opportunity again. So if you've ever walked away from chaos, if you've ever chosen peace over drama, if you've ever stopped explaining yourself to someone who never truly cared, remember this: you don't have to fight for what's truly meant for you. You only have to stop fighting to be seen by people who never deserved your light in the first place.